Before you start anything in your life, you need to figure out who you are. Whether if you're starting a new relationship, starting a business, starting anything, just figure out who you are. If you haven't figured out it yet, make sure that it is a priority for you today. I can't tell you how often I get this in my coaching practice. I have people come to me all the time with all of these brilliant ideas that they want to execute. And when I ask them, why do you want to do these things? And how does that even relate to you personally? They have no answer for me. And look, the reason why people come to me is because they are in a transition time in their life and they want to figure out who they are. So I completely understand that. And it's frustrating at the same time because if you don't know who you are, there's no way you're going to be able to build a life that you really want. How can you really know what it is that you want out of life when you don't even know who you are to begin with? And it is frustrating for me. And at the same time, I feel good about it because I could actually share my knowledge in finding out who you are. So today, if you guys don't know where to even begin, I just want to share three very simple ways to start your journey in finding out who you are, a journey to self-awareness, which is amazing. So the first thing first is even before I get into the ways, I want you to take some time apart from rest of the society for a while. Okay, however that looks like. Maybe if you're taking 30 minutes to go somewhere quiet in a room where there no one else is around, or you want to go for a walk, you want to take a trip somewhere on your own, whatever it is, find some time alone to begin with so you can really clear your mind and away from the society. Because when things are constantly buzzing, you're not going to be able to really do these exercises. So, number one, find time alone, as much time as you can. Maybe for you it's only 30 minutes, that's fine. Just find some time alone. So the first way is I do this all the time. I walk people through the one word exercise, which is your most important core value defined by you. We have a lot of values that we inherit from our parents. We have a lot of values that we get from our faith. Whether if you're a religious person, it could come from your church, but this is about you. This is about what you stand for as a human being. So, a couple of things I'm just going to share quickly is just making a list of everything that makes you incredibly happy and fulfilled. I love to walk people through the exercise of recalling your most fulfilling moment that you've had recently. And the reason why I get there is because sometimes it's hard to articulate what you stand for. So it's really easy because when you're articulating things where we are accessing a part of the brain that controls language, which is very analytical, which is very much heady and not so much in the heart. What we want to do is we want to actually go into the limbic system, where is where our heart is, our gut is, our core feelings are. So really understanding that and just going into the place that is like, it's so fulfilling to me. I'm so joyful. This is what happened. Who are the people you were around? What was it like the first time? Put on some nice music. Really just kind of figure it out for yourself. Number one, and then start to write down a couple of the words that come to mind. And soon it's going to kind of flow into really clarifying what your one word is. The second exercise that I go through, this is still around the one word, is making a list of characteristics that you hate. Sometimes it helps people. It didn't, for me, when I discovered my one word, I went through the happiness exercise. I did not go through this exercise, but for some people, it's very, very liberating and gives them a lot of clarity, is making a list of characteristics that they absolutely hate in this world. I know we're all nice people and we don't want to use the word hate, but the reality is there are certain things in the world that you just can't stand being around. And what are those things? Because sometimes to find out for who you are, you need to find out who you are not. So start there. And then just write down a piece of paper, all the words that come to mind, and start circling things that are similar because a common theme is you. And once you find out the connective tissue between all of them, you could have more clarity around that one single most important core value that is defined by you. Not, I didn't want to say that's who you are. It's what you value the most. because you're all sorts of different things, but this is what you value the most. And once you figure out what you value the most, then your entire life could actually start to open up. You could choose the right people to be around. You could choose the right business to be a part of. You could choose the right team. You could choose the right environment for you. There are so many things that opens up for you when you figure out what is the most important core value for you. I cannot stress that enough, guys. I cannot. Because if you don't, you will spend your entire life chasing after things that are trendy, chasing after things that you feel are good opportunities, but it's not right for you. And that is a waste of your time. So that's number one. The second thing is to, as you guys could tell, I take this very seriously. The second way is to meditate. Absolutely, just meditate. And I know this is like something that is hard for a lot of people because like, how could I sit in silence? And I'm going to give you an example right now. Okay, so I run an online live training series called the School of Life, and I do different meditations with them. So I started off with a really short meditation that was only like a couple of breaths, and that's it. And then recently I started increasing the amount of meditation that I've been doing. So recently we've been doing up to 13 minutes, but I will always tell the team that is 10 minutes, but it's really 13 minutes. So you can sit in silence. And there's a beauty in sitting in silence. I start my day off with meditation. And the reason for that is because I want to hear my own thoughts. Because when we wake up in the morning, immediately our notifications are going off. Our emails are going off on our phone. We're watching YouTube videos. We're doing all sorts of things. We don't even know, are those thoughts even mine? Like, have you guys ever had a moment? I've had many of those moments. I'm like, are my thoughts even real? Is this what I'm actually thinking? Or is this because is that something that's going on right now in the world? So really find a time to start meditating right away. And I started off with a 30-second meditation. I think we could all spare 30 seconds a day to meditation to really find out what our thoughts are and not someone else's. And the last way is that understand that this is a journey. It is not going to happen overnight. Yes, you need to begin by finding out what you value the most, and then you need to start to engage in activities that is aligned with your values. And understand it's a journey. And the third piece to this is surround yourself with people who have great self-awareness. It is absolutely difficult for you to find out who you are and really go on your own path when you're surrounded by a bunch of people who don't know who they are, who are being seduced by society, who's being seduced by quick opportunities and all sorts of different things. And surrounding yourself with people who are really grounded in themselves will really help you to start building yourself up as who you are too. And those people are everywhere. You could find them anywhere. You can go to your local synagogue, start to talk to people who are wise and who really know who they are. You could go to your local church. You could reach out to YouTubers who you feel that have a lot of self-awareness and just send them an email and just say, hey, can I chat with you? Connect with people through meetups. Go talk to a monk. I don't know. Lots of things. I spent my childhood as a kid in Nepal. I had the wonderful opportunity to grow up around monks, believe it or not. And that's when a lot of my self-awareness practice started. My dad's from Nepal, and I was in a small town there. I kind of basically grew up in the foothills of Mount Everest, and there were a lot of monks around. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to talk about self-awareness and you want to talk about personal development, the monks have got it. They know what's going on. So really surrounding yourself with those people. And yes, I live in North America, so I'm not surrounded by monks all the time, but there are teachers, there are professors, there are priests, there are rabbis, there are community leaders. There are lots of people that you can go to that could kind of help you in the process. And just being around them and being around their confidence and them knowing who they are, that will kind of rub off on you, and you're going to be able to go on your journey and your path as well. Okay, so those are the three things I want to recap quickly. So number one is finding out your one word, your single most important core value. But if that particular exercise does not work for you, or you don't see the value in it, that's fine. It works for me, but it doesn't necessarily have to work for you. But find some kind of exercise that you can do on your own time where you could really reflect on your own life and do those exercises. Whether if that start with why is another wonderful exercise you could go through with Simon Sinek. I love that too. You could also do a strength finder, a weakness finder. You could do personality tests. You have the Myers-Briggs model. There's so many different exercises that you can do to find out who you are, but you need to start right away. The second thing is to meditate. I know this is probably the hardest thing to do, but just challenge yourself and meditate and sit in silence and really allow your thoughts to come to you. And the last thing is to surround yourself with people who have amazing self-awareness. And there are so many people out there. And hey, if you guys ever want to send me an email, let me know. I would love to help you out in finding self-awareness. Because here's the thing, if you don't know who you are and what you stand for, and you start a business that way, your business will fail. And the reason why it will fail is because it is not aligned with what you really meant to do with your life. And I think too many people are focused on procedures and processes and strategies and all sorts of things, which are all great, but none of those things will ever work unless you know why you are doing it in the first place. I had a conversation with someone yesterday regarding a business that they were doing, and I knew why they were doing that business in the first place, and they knew why they were doing the business. It was a temporary thing that they were doing because they wanted to earn money. And what they really wanted to do was do something creative and create something that was actually really scary. They wanted to write books. They wanted to spread their message in the most positive way. But the reality at this moment for this person was to keep this business. And they were just justifying everything. Well, it's because of the philosophy of the company that I'm part of, because of this. But I'm like, yeah, if you really did believe in this company so much, you would work hard at it. Instead of using all your energy to justify why you are doing what you're doing and making it something that is actually not, be honest with yourself and really look at yourself head on and tell yourself that the reason why I'm doing this is because of money. And there's nothing wrong with that either. I get it. We have bills to pay. I live in North America. Money is extremely important. I get it. And we all need to make money. How much money we need to make is different question altogether, which is a different video I am going to make. But no, that's why you're doing it in the first place, because the energy that it takes to convince yourself and justify your actions when you know it's not the right thing for you, that energy is being spent not doing the thing you really want to do. So what it came down to with this person, I said, continue on with this business, but know that this is why you're doing it, and only put in that much energy towards it, and put in your energy about positivity, about spreading your message into something else. Because in the end, you're in the long-term game. You're in this for the marathon. This little tiny thing you're doing is just a sprint, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with doing something because of the money, because you need it. But don't make it something bigger than it is, because it's not. And having that awareness inside of you completely clears people's minds. And in the end, she was happy with it. She's like, yeah, you know what, you're right. And I felt so torn because I knew I was doing it for the money, but I wanted to make it seem like I wasn't, because it came across like I'm not a good person. I get it. I get it. We all need money. It's fine. Don't ever think that makes you a bad person, because we've all been there. I have worked in the corporate world for many, many years. And yes, in the beginning, I loved it. I had a great time. I was doing it for the creativity, but eventually it just became about the money. I was making a lot of money. I was, I don't even want to talk about it, but I was making a lot of money. But I knew why I was doing it. I knew I was doing it for the money. So instead of me justifying things, and that takes so much energy, guys, it takes so much energy in trying to justify things. Take that energy and do something else, more creative. like finding out who you are and being honest with yourself. Okay, at this point, I'm going to walk over to a chat and see what you guys have got. Okay, so there's lots of you guys in the chat. Okay, so we got Zeno in the house. Hello, Zeno. Nice to see you. Got Tracy, of course, Tracy. Nice to see you. We got Feel Good from Within. We got Brett. Brett, nice to see you, sir. We got Chris in the house. I love it. We got Bartik Burners. We got Clifford Starks and Lynn. I do want to read out some of your comments as well. To kind of, if you guys have any questions, please let me know as well in the comment section. So we have Tracy. Tracy saying, I've been trying to figure out recently. It is discouraging when you know you want to do something fulfilling, but you have no idea what it is. You know what, Tracy? I'm going to give you a suggestion. Take 30 minutes. And I think I've talked about this before. Take 30 minutes, and I just really want you to, like, not even write things down. Just on your phone, on audio, or on, actually video is even better because you could really see your face. Go on video and just start talking. Just start talking. Just come up with things. I want to do this. I want to do that. Maybe your first sentence is going to be, I have no idea what I'm saying. I don't know. I can't figure things out. And just let it flow. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. And I walked this exercise with one of my clients yesterday. And in the beginning, she just didn't know. She's like, I don't know what it is that I want to do. I don't know. And then eventually she's like, oh, okay, there it is. The floodgates are opening up. And then all these ideas are just kind of flowing through. So that's a suggestion I have for you, Tracy. Just do it today. And then let me know how it goes. And then maybe I can help you out too. Okay. Chris Francis saying, interesting topic. Thanks for this. Yeah. You know, I will talk about self-awareness and figuring out who you are for the rest of my life if I have to, because it is so important. It has to stem from us. It has to stem from us. I can't, you know, I deal with entrepreneurs all the time. I work with entrepreneurs. If the entrepreneur does not know who they are and they don't have a foundation story, nobody can connect with your business at all. 100% of your customers are people. They need to know who you are. And if you don't, I can't. I just cannot stress that enough. Okay, what else? Bartik Burners, watching The Thinker as an author. Author says, Power of Now. Yeah, that's the Eckhart Tolle book. I actually have it with me right now. I read it all the time, The Power of Now. Okay, great. Good to know. Great. Good to know more about you. All right. Okay, so Clifford Starts, thank you so much for joining in. I do want to read out Tracy. Tracy got a haircut? Nice. Nice, Tracy. I want to see. Lynn is saying, what to do when you're overwhelmed in a winding of self-awareness. This is it. What to do when you're feeling overwhelmed. In the beginning of your journey, you are going to feel very, very vulnerable, because when you find out who you are, you're going to find out all the great things about yourself, but you're also going to find out a lot of bad things about yourself, because the good cannot exist without the bad. That's my opinion. And when you're feeling overwhelmed and you have all of these things going through you, the best thing to do is, number one, is understand that you're much bigger than this moment. If you're whatever spiral that you might be going through, or however, whatever it is, just take a moment. First of all, have self-compassion. That is the most important thing that we can do in our lives too. You know, when we find out who we are and then we're like, oh, geez, all this other stuff is showing up. A lot of those things are coming up for me. I really need to just practice self-compassion. That's where you begin. And if you're feeling overwhelmed because you're so excited about all the things that you could possibly do, I would just say, pick one thing, try it, see where the pain points are, and adjust accordingly. That's what I would do. So number one, if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm finding out all of these things about myself, I'm feeling overwhelmed, have self-compassion. The second thing is, if you feel like, wow, I know exactly who I am. I want to do so many things. I want to say yes. I want to spend the entire year saying yes to everything. Great. Try it and see where the pain points are. That's what I did. When I really figured out who I was, I'm like, I stand for, extraordinary. And I want to do this. I want to do talks. I want to write books. I want to do all of these things. The reality is it's overwhelming because there's too many things, but I did try everything and I figured out where the pain points are. And sometimes you could try one thing first and you're like, okay, this is not for me. And that's fine too. Okay, what else we got? So Tracy's saying, I used to journal a lot when I was younger. Maybe it'll be helpful to restart that. Yes, Tracy, please try. Journaling is so incredible. Like for me, I don't, I have a form of a journal, so I don't actually write things down. What I do is, maybe that would help you guys as well. I go for very, very long walks in the morning. So I kind of just, at least an hour. So I live in the suburbs, so I don't live in the wilderness or anything like that. I used to live in the country. I live in the suburbs, and I have a house here, and I would just walk and walk, and there's like a nice ravine that I would walk down, and then I would just have these different insights, and I would record myself on video. So that's my form of journaling. So it's very good. And if you find that written is easier for you, you could do that as well. Just write it. You just don't know. Just like everything's going to flow through. Okay, who else? We got Jason and Carmel. Okay, I used to wonder who I was, but then I saw my birth certificate and I looked in the mirror, then I knew who I was. It was life-changing. Okay, interesting. Okay, well, I think it's a journey that it's amazing that you know exactly who you are by looking at your birth certificate. I would encourage you to go on a journey even further because it's important. It's the work is never done. So I would suggest that, Jason and Carmel. Okay, Bartik Burners, try and test it and just do it. Hi, Lit T. Nice to see you. Nice to see you as well, darling. Okay, guys, it is 10:05. I am going to go. I woke up, this morning feeling like, wow, I have grown so much as a human being, and it all stemmed from one place, is I know who I am. And yes, the journey it will never end, but it needs to start. It needs to start right now. If you don't know who you are yet, start right now. Make it your most important priority today before you do anything. Before you start a business, start a relationship, whatever it is. Start right now. Okay? Have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning for another episode of Coach's Corner. Bye-bye.